Well, they're settling in quite nicely. It's day 14, 16, day 17 now, and I got a surprise out of this one with the pine needles. I put it in and I didn't think I quite got it down, and this thing here almost like dehydrated off. Bang, overnight it's come back. I can't believe it. It's actually come back, and so maybe Mobile's got a point. But I think he's going to be so much happier with the double flush. So put your pine needles on the top, give it the double flush, and put your stuff in. I think you're going to be pretty amazed, pretty excited. The one in the nickel is stabilising. The one in copper is still alive, and so there you go. There's your argument about copper's got a flaw in it, fellas. Look at that. Yeah, your argument's got about the copper's got a flaw in it. Better do the nickel again from a different angle. So I wish I had another one to try out the irons. Anyway, put this one in here, and you can see starting to get some colour. All the white bits are either going green or going trying to redden up, sort of thing. So yeah, it'll be interesting. It's still got a flower stalk down the bottom, so that's going to have to grow out before we get some new leaves. This one in with the aluminium. It's a bit covered up with the balls. I think I'm going to have to go with some tweezers. Oh yeah, by the way, I put these all up in the sun and on the bricks down there, so if you can see that. So yeah. Anyway, if I can pull this one away to show the leaf stabilising in there. This one in here, in the peat, stabilising. So I don't know what's going on with this. Oh, you see this picture sort of going to the side? Remember I told you I had a strange effect with this one over here, where the leaves they stood up after I put the thing in and watered the pot with the new plant in there, and they stood up, and I went back and checked the footage and they weren't standing up beforehand. Now my leaf looks like it's going warped or something. So do you think they've got hormones in there, like maybe gibberellins or something, and it's warping the growth, making those leaves stand up over there and making this thing sort of go sideways now for some reason? Because I think the bloke in Florida said something about he thought they were using G something on them. Was it G9 or G14 or something on their plants? So might have some evidence now to have a chat about these sort of things. But yeah, okay. But oh yeah, we better go and film these ones over here. So we got the grass clippings. It's stabilising away, but so far, nothing spectacular. In the peat, it's okay, not good, slightly better than the grass clippings initially by the looks of it. Coir looks quite nice actually in the coir. So I might have to go back and say coir might be as good, if not a little bit better than peat, if you've got polystyrene beads in the medium as well. So with some reductive flammable gas coming off. So how does the reductive flammable gas react with the coir differently to reacting with the peat? Okay, a charcoal, don't know. Probably at the moment looks as good as the grass clippings at the moment. And this one here, so far looks alright. So I think that one's going to stabilise and do alright. So, and yeah, I like the colour on the leaves here. I reckon they can almost get to a bluey colour on these ones, on these CP weeds. So I don't know. Anyway, I've set up some. Go back to normal focus. I've set up. Yeah, this one. Oh, and this one. Sorry, in the chalk. Let's go back to spot colouring. This one in the chalk. I'm just flushing it through, fellas. Is all right. So. I may have conquered chalk, I don't know, we'll see. But so therefore I've set up these two pots. I've got a full pot of Bottomlands Rhodium Pay Dirt Master Mix, and I've got a bucket of sand with just a 1 litre on the top of Bottomlands Rhodium Pay Dirt Master Mix. And if that works okay and does as good, if not better than the chalk one, well then I'm going to go and try and blue something with some copper sort of thing. I'm just wondering whether this one flashed blue because they're using nickel. Because remember we've shown in the past that whenever you have nickel and copper together, you double the extinction coefficient. In other words, you make it twice as dark. So do you think it had nickel in the plant already, and as the copper went in, it doubled the extinction coefficient, flashed blue, you know, that sort of, for a couple of hours until, and of course, nickel's very soluble, of course, and the plant got rid of the nickel, but can't get rid of the copper because it's not as soluble or as mobile, and therefore the flash went back by, you know, half a unit sort of thing. So the extinction coefficient went back to being, you know, halved itself again, so it went back to being normal, and you can barely see it now. Just an idea of why these things keep flashing sort of turquoisey blue sort of thing. Because remember in the past I said you can get the nickel and the copper up to almost toxic levels, and just before you kill the cells and craze them, that they give you this sort of turquoise look, and then the cells craze, and you basically kill the cells and things like that. But still gives me hope. So depending on how this one goes, I'm going to have a good serious go at trying to blue a fly trap. So I may have to put the nickel and the copper together sort of thing to get to double the extinction coefficient and get the blue twice as dark sort of thing. You remember that? Because we put the nickel and the copper earlier this year in the summer season. We showed that when you poured the copper into the nickel, the colour stayed the blue colour stayed almost identical, same blue colour, even though you doubled the volume. In other words, basically you doubled the extinction coefficient. So so I think, and they might give an, as I said, might give an angle why these things are flat. When you first put them in, they flash sort of blue for a couple of hours, and then it disappears, because maybe they've already got nickel in them. So yeah. So nickel in nickel doesn't flash. Nickel in copper flashes, but only for a few hours. So how do we prove it by? Yeah, I mean, how do you go the other way? How do you go to the other one where you quadruple it sort of thing? I don't know. But anyway, time to think about it. So I'll give it a good go, depending on this one. If this one, I'll get some more fly traps and they come in the shops, and if this one, you know, slightly greens up on the surface like that one has, and I'll stick some plants in and see how we go. If they start growing really well, then I'll go for it, fellas. I'll try and blue a fly trap. I think I know how to do it. So I think it's going to be copper and nickel, but I think we can do it. But we'll see. Okay, well that's about it. Day, what was it then? Monday was 14, 2 weeks, 14, 15, 16, Thursday, 17 days. So I'll just put these in. They've been in basically 2 days, I think. You know, 48 hours and going into the third day sort of thing. So not bad. Yeah, as I said, the biggest surprise was this one over here. You know, there you go, mobile. Give you credit, you might have something there, but I think you'll be very, very surprised and very pleased by just putting your needles on the top and doing the double flush. And yeah, so there you go, fellas. So and I said, this one still keeps looking like it. I've got an insect on there. Huh? Maybe it's been bent because there's some insect or something. Don't know. So why isn't this one bending then? You know. So why is this one bending and this one isn't really bending? Don't know. Is it just because it's tougher? Anyway, we'll see how we go. But are we still on spot culling? No. Can you see that new growth development down there? I reckon over time it's going to beat that one. So I think you want to seriously consider putting charcoal and newspaper cellulose together. I don't think you have to mix it, fellas. I think you just do this and put your charcoal on the top. So you just put your layer of cellulose and then just put a layer of charcoal. I might try that. I think that would be the simplest way. Just set up another bucket and just do that. A layer of newspaper cellulose followed by a layer of charcoal. So just basically add this to that on top. So a litre of that, a litre of that. So you got 2 litres on top. So you got to have only 8 litres of sand basically, and it'll sink down a little bit. Okay, that's about it, fellas. Can't say much more, but I think there are some exciting times ahead. I think the window of possibility of having a blue flytrap is definitely there now. I reckon, depending on this, if this works really well, I'm going to go for it, fellas. I'm going to try and do it. I'm going to try and grow a blue flytrap. Yeah, there you go, fellas. Isn't science wonderful? It certainly works when it works. But anyway, it's taken many years to get to this point to work out what's going on. Okay, over and out. See ya.